Lesson number 1.6. The name of the lesson into the wild means wild animal in the forest. The first part 1, lost in the jungle. We have seen some content about this. This is the story of how the writer was lost in the jungle, how he lost the roots, and how he fight food. Now we come to the point of words. The blossoming boxwood trees, the whoop whoop sound, and cowcall birds, the song of robin birds, appear aligned to me. This is up to we have come in this part number 1. The blossoming boxwood trees, the musk tree of flowers on the tree, the whoop whoop sound of cuckoo birds, the song of robin birds, all appear aligned to me. All these things are unknown to the writer. Now see the next paragraph. It was more than an hour and I was still there searching for the suitable tree to climb and get secured. The writer spent many times, many hours, and he was still there searching for suitable tree to climb the get secured. He wanted to find a suitable tree and he want to climb on it and he want to go sit on the secure place on the tree. Turn back the trail you left. Sometimes you think that you should go where you have come. Turn back to the trail you left. My mind was telling me. Sometimes his mind will tell him that I should go back to the place where I have come from. But there was no sign of friends. Now we do not see any kind of road to go from. I had no other way to climb the hillock before me, and there is no way to the writer to climb the hilltop and see whether he can see anything, the place or some city or the village. I had no other way to climb the hillock before me. There is no other way to the writer rather than to climb the small hills of the surroundings. There were more hillocks. There are a lot of small hills around him and some more around the one he was standing, and the writer was standing in front of the various small hills. Near my feet were the dried up dropping of the sloth bear. He saw some dried droppings, means some dried seat of the sloth bear, slow moving bear. Near my feet where he sighted dried droppings of the sloth bear. Behind his foot he find a dried seat of the sloth bear. The sloth bear was of Umbalzara, must be out in the open sniffing of the food. This sloth bear of Umbalzara came out in search of searching, taking the smell of the food. He wanted some food. I cautioned myself. He alert, the writer alert himself because the boar was coming to himself, thinking of averting all sort of eventuality. Thinking of averting of sort of eventuality. Thinking all kind of prevent all types of possibility. He was thinking all kinds of prevent possibility. I made a move. The writer moved somewhere. I ran down the hillock that I had climbed up at a frantic speed. Now the writer go toward the tree and he ran up the tree very speedily. The waist was to my right side. The waist was his right side. Now the evening breeze flew through my wet curly hair. The evening breeze flew through my wet curly hair. The evening wind was blowing through his wet hair. My stomach was itching. His stomach was have some pains. I kept walking in hopes. The writer was walking some hope that he will get some road to go. After around 50 steps, he walked around the 50 steps. I found a bright red soil trail. After a round of 50 steps he takes, he found a bright red soil trail. After some time, he found a road which is a red soil trail, red soil road. I found my silver lining on the trail. He also found his footsteps on the road. There were marks of the bicycle wheels. There he finds some signs of bicycle wheels. There were some marks of bicycle wheels. He also found on the road some wheels of bicycles on the road. That was a big consolation. That was a big comfort for the writer, because he guessed that the village or people may be around it. There was a big concern for me. There must be the village nearby. The sign of the cycle on the trails and silver line on the roads, he finds some clue that there must be the village nearby. I assured myself, he confided himself, more questions he resolved, and he created more questions. I confided myself, I reassured, he is confident in myself for questions reassured. He created many questions for it. How far is the village? If he asks, he gave the sign of the village, then he understand how far it is. Such kind of question he created. How far is the village? How much long the village is? And where it is? In which direction? This is some question arise by the mind of the writer. How far is the village? If the sign of the village is seen by the silver line of the trails, and then some footsteps of the peoples, this suggests him that village is nearby. But after that, he raised some questions like that: how far is the village? If we find some villages, then we understand how far is the village and where in the direction we can go. I climbed one more hillock and tried to locate the sign of the human civilization. Now you climb one of the small hills and tried to locate the sign of the human civilization, the human inhabitations. My legs were trembling when he tried to climb the hilltop. At that time, his legs were trembling with the fear. As I reached the top of the hill, he jumped with joy. When he reached the top of the hill, that time he saw some human inhabitation and he felt very joy. He jumped with joy. Heard the sounds of people talking in the loudspeaker. The people become very happy that he heard the sound of people who are speaking at the loudspeaker. Then he definitely find the village nearby. In a jiffy, in a moment, I ran down to the hill. In a moment, he come down from the hill when he saw people are speaking. Toward the sound with a full vigor, he ran toward the sound with a full vigor, full strength. And with a run, with a hurry, he was stumbled. He was struck by something and he fell down. Saw droppings of blue bulls nearby. He saw some seeds of the blue bulls nearby. Blue bulls is a large Indian antelope, that is a deer or brook. He saw the droppings, means the seed of the blue bulls nearby, that is a large antelopes, these groupings. He struggled, the writer stood and decided which direction to move on. The writer was struggling in which direction he had to go to the village. The sign of civilization were visible. The sign of the human inhabitant was visible to the writer. He can see by his eyes the some people are living around it. The village is nearby. The tiny sleepy village of XII was visible through the green woods. The small sleepy people of the village of XII was seen through the green woods, through the green forest of the jungle. In lantern of Rajaram Bhalvi forms, in the Rajaram Bhalvi form, is seen some lantern in the Rajaram Bhalvi form. The loudspeaker installed. The loudspeaker was kept for Keshav Bhalvi's marriage. The loudspeaker was arranged by these people for the Keshav Bhalvi's marriage. All were in the clear sight. Everything was clear. Now the writer able to see. Turned left to spot the village. Now he turned toward to see the village. Take village lake and familiar hillock, and he go to the familiar hillock, familiar hill, small hill. That is the name of this Suhudaki. The dog barked to welcome me to the village. When the village came at that time, dog welcomed this writer, the Purandare, by barking them. The first thing I did was to take the bath. When he came to home, the first thing that writer done, he take the bath first, then shaking up the limbs, walking through the road, he lost the roads, therefore his limbs like arms and legs were aching. Therefore, he was shaking his limbs like arms and legs. Had lessened a bit. When he shook his limbs, his pain become lessened a bit. The stomach ache started again. Now the stomach pains of the writer started again. Add to the full, the writer eat very full. Then slumped, then fell down onto the cot. Then he fell down on the cot. Lying awake, looking at the star-studded sky. He was lying awake on the bed and looking at the star, full of the star in the sky. I spoke to myself. Then the writer speak himself. There is still exists a jungle where we can get lost. The writer said we are still exist some jungles. We are able to lost in the jungles. Isn't this a good luck for us? There is a jungle we lost the good luck for the people, and we are lucky to lost in jungle. Taken from Saka Nagzira by Kiran Purandare. Now we have to see the second part of this lesson. Part second. The title of this Tracking the Panther of Nagarhole. Tracking the Panther of Nagarhole means Nagarhole madil चित्त्याच्या मागावर. Now see some about this part second. This part has been extracted from XII Traveler magazine published by the Land Rover India. It is about the Shah. This passage about the Shah is the character of this second part. Jung, known for his wildlife photography. The Jung was known for his wildlife. He take the photograph of the wild animals. In brief about his entry into this world of the wild, like wildlife photography. The insight that he receiving during the journey regarding the loss of how the habitat of these heroes of the jungle and genuine effort that they have took to establish the BCRTC for the conservation of the forest, educating the local rural folks and providing them with a sound, reliable source of income. This Shah has created something that the village people have gained some income and they can run their family. Now see the part second, Tracking the Panther of Nagarhole. नागरहोल मधील चित्त्याच्या मागावरती. Shah is the main character of this second part. Shah is a wild animal photographer. Shah is a wild animal photographer. He takes the photo of these wild animals. Cinematography. This is the art of the photography and camera working and filmmaking. He can make the photography for the filmmaking, that is cinematography. He's a big tracker. He's a big tracker. He's an animal tracker and conflict resolution. They also solve the conflict among the man and animals. And he is also a lodge owner. He also the lodge owner. He has his own lodge. All rolled in one. All the plays was done by this one man, that's the sgm. When he is away from the jungle of Nagarhole, officially called the Rajiv Gandhi National Park. This is officially called as a Rajiv Gandhi National Park. Whenever he is away from this reserve Rajiv Gandhi National Park, it is said that he is away from. He is leading photography, traveling to the Africa and showcasing work at the art galleries. Whenever he is away from this Rajiv Gandhi Park, at that time he may be traveling to the Africa or showcasing his work at galleries to the all capital cities and speaking to those interested in conserving the planet's riches, and he is speaking to the people who want to protect the environment and the planet's valuables. Saw records with the great clarity the incident. Saw records clearly the incident that ultimately led his answering the records of feline. Feline means animal belong to the cat family. And he won't earn some kind of economic supply from this cat family. This is the decision made by the sgm. Feline over the career dedication, finance want to some earn money from this cat belongings animals. It was somewhere around the sunset. It is time of around the sunset. Sun was going to set. We are at the junction. They are stopping one junction where two road meets. The deer was calling loudly. He says, we went around to blind turns. We are going to the road, we have no directions. The writer said, we went around the blind turns. We are going to the place where there is no any turn. He continues, and up ahead on the path was this old leopard. While they walking somewhere, sometimes at this path or this road they find some leopard. You could tell he was past his prime. Now he was old and lost his dignity. He was very old, this leopard, and he lost his dignity and prosperity. The jungle had taken the toll on him. On this old leopard, the jungle has taken some money, charge from this jungle. The jungle has taken toll on him. On this old leopard, they have jungle taken some toll, charge on him. He only had 3 canines. This old leopard has only long teeth. He had only canines. His eyes were shading. His eyes were very sleepy eyes. Close to the leopard, close to the old leopard, was another very young, good-looking male who was soon to come to his prime. Near this old leopard found a very young, good-looking male who was soon come to the prime. He was become the in charge of this place. He was a control. He was got a dignity among all the animals. It was like looking at the past and the present. While looking at these two animals, the old animals, leopard, and the male, recent young animal, leopard, we have seen the past and present. One is old one and new is old, young and male. It was like looking at the past and the present. When you see are these two leopards, the young one the old stage, and recently young, that is the present. It was clear that there was going to be fight. It was think that the fight between the old ones and the young ones. But unfortunately, the sun was setting. Unfortunately, the sun was setting. Therefore, they cancelled the fight between the male, energetic, and the old ones was cancelled because of the night. Unfortunately, the sun was setting and we have to leave. Unfortunately, the sun was set, and therefore the fighting between the old and the young leopard was cancelled. It was looking at the past and it was clear that there was a going to be fight. Unfortunately, the sun was setting and we have to leave the fight. But the next morning the rider came. I went back to the spot. Next morning the rider came and he saw the spot. He came to the same spot. Sitting on the high rock was the young man leopard. The young leopard was sitting on the rock. Leopard sitting on the high rock was young leopard. The young leopard was sitting on the rock. Blood was dripping. Blood was flowing from the gush, from the face cut. Some blood was dripping from his face cut. He sat there like a king of the jungle. This male, young and energetic leopard was sitting like king of the jungle. I knew right then that he had taken over it. I know that he has taken the charge of this king of the kingdom. I know that he has taken the charge, that it was beginning of a new journey for him. This is I think that he has taken the charge of the old leopard, and this is the new journey of the new leopard and for the rider. Photography of that leopard. Photography of that leopard, that the young male who just has some face cut and blood is dripping. And that animal's photograph was taken by the writer Sarjang. Photograph of that leopard, the victor. The writer has given this leopard as a victor. Photograph of that leopard, the victor, scared face, wounded face, as Saj named him. The Saj has taken some photograph of this young and male leopard and has given him name as a victor. A scarred wounded face, as a Saj named him. Not only made Saj famous. Saj was not only famous among the people, among the animals, but among India's wildlife community. He is famous among the all animals, wild animals community. But also led to Saj's annual reputation. He also got a hateful reputation of the chronicles, persons who records of the historical events of the wild animals of the wild. Through his journey of the photography scareface, I have discovered other leopards. Through the journey of the scareface, he have found 2 new leopards, his mates, and discovered his name. He also finds someone male leopard and also one find a tiger. I also discovered the current protagonist. He also find one leader for the Saya. He also discovered the current protagonist, the leader of the Saya. Saya is the name of the Black Panther. He is called as a Saya. I also discovered the current protagonist of my work, Saya. He discovered the current leader of work is Saya while tracking the scareface. While he was tracking the scareface, this is the world's first Black Panther. This is the world's first Black Panther you find. The behavior of which he being documented so ultimately in a camera. All the behavior, all the document was saved in the camera of this Black Panther. Through many months of the toil, For many months of the efforts, Saj has managed to collect the precious footsteps. For many years of efforts, Saj has some photographs in his dictionary, including that the animal mating, including that the animal interactions. A piece together the incredible landscape of Black Panther's life. This is the piece of together. That is the this is the some time of photography has made by the surgeon of the life of this Black Panther. Incredible landscape he has taken of the Black Panther's life. Saya's character strength.